Have you ever felt like you've tried your best, but still can't get any further in life? You go to work every day, save every penny, try not to make mistakes. But after many years, your account still only has a few million. Meanwhile, some people open a store, make profitable investments, buy cars, buy land, and even help their families in just a few months. Why is that? It's not because you're lazy. It's not because you're stupid. It's just that you're doing everything alone. Rich people don't do it that way. They don't do everything from A to Z themselves. They leverage resources. Read more. 0033. They leverage people, money, reputation, technology, and even relationships. They don't need to be good at everything. They need to know how to use other people's strength to achieve their goals. And if you want to understand the 9 ways rich people secretly use every day to build their wealth, watch this entire video. Open quote. If you believe that ordinary people can still get rich just by understanding and acting correctly, then don't forget to like and subscribe to the Daulap Negip channel, because this is the place for those who want to break through from nothing like you. Read more. 0106. Close quote. You know what? Many poor people think that to get rich they need a lot of capital, extensive connections, or luck. But in reality, rich people aren't necessarily better than you. They just use leverage better than you. Open quote. That's why today's video was created. If you feel like you can't do it alone, now is the time to learn how to leverage others to rise up. Close quote. I want you to listen carefully to this. Open quote. Poor people do it themselves. Rich people build systems. Poor people do everything themselves. Rich people let others help them. Read more. 0139. Poor people use their hands. Rich people use their brains and others. Close quote. They create income without working continuously. They build wealth by intelligently and strategically leveraging the power of others. Open quote. And that's exactly what I want to share with you in this video. Not theoretical knowledge, but methods you can apply immediately. Close quote. And if you're wondering if I, someone with no money, no skills, and no connections, can leverage power, the answer is yes, as long as you understand the new way of thinking, as long as you're willing to learn and act according to the right path. Read more. 0215. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because in the following videos, I will share more specific models for you to apply each of these strategies in practice. From starting a small business, creating passive income, to expanding your income without large capital. Close quote. And before going into the 9 ways to leverage power, I want to break down a huge misconception that most poor people have. Most poor people believe that to get rich, you have to be self-reliant. They consider asking for help, borrowing, or using the resources of others as weakness, parasitism, and something not to be proud of. From a young age, we are taught that we must strive on our own, study hard, work diligently, and one day success will naturally follow. But look back, how many poor people have risen up just by toiling on their own? How many people who graduated with honors diligently work 8 hours a day and still only live day by day on their salary? The truth is, hard work is not enough, and solitary effort sometimes only exhausts you. Read more. 0321. Poor people often make a common mistake. They do everything themselves with the belief that they can only feel secure doing it themselves, or that no one else can help them. They are afraid of fire. They are afraid of dependence. They are hesitant to ask for help. They are hesitant to borrow, and worse, they think that they must have money to be able to borrow. All those beliefs are wrong, and they are what keep them trapped in poverty, no matter how hard they try. Look at the rich. They don't do more than you. They might even do less, but the results are dozens of times better. Read more. 0354. Why? Because they know how to leverage people, technology, systems, other people's time, and investors' money. They use smart leverage, while the poor only know how to use their own muscles and time. They understand something the poor don't know. Open quote. No one succeeds alone. Close quote. No matter who you are, rich or poor, highly educated or not, you need others to help you go further. Not because you're incompetent, but because that's the nature of success. Elon Musk. Read more. 0428. Didn't assemble every Tesla car himself. Steve Jobs didn't write every line of code for the iPhone himself. Mark Zuckerberg didn't develop Facebook into an empire all by himself. They all know how to find the right people, connect with the right systems, and leverage resources at the right time. You think they're rich because they're talented, but that's not entirely true. They're rich because they know how to leverage others. Meanwhile, the poor do everything themselves, earning money, saving money, spending money, and then losing it. In the end, they only suffer. The more talented you are without knowing how to leverage resources, the easier it is to fall into the trap of shouldering everything yourself and having no time to improve. But what about those who know how to leverage resources? They optimize, not overexert themselves. They connect, not isolate. They create. Value comes from others, not from shouldering everything yourself. And the great thing is, you don't need to have money to start leveraging resources. Many people think, I'm poor, I have nothing to offer others for help. That thought is very dangerous. In fact, you always have something to exchange: attitude, time, skills, a spirit of cooperation, and ideas. Read more. 0531. If you have the will and the right mindset, you can still cooperate, utilize, and wisely leverage resources from others even if you start from nothing. The right mindset isn't "I have nothing, I can't do it," but rather "I have nothing, so I need others to help me do it." The poor fear being indebted. The rich understand that a win-win relationship is the foundation of all success. So if you've ever thought that you have to do everything yourself to be considered good, now is the time to break that prejudice. It's what's keeping you constantly working without getting any better. Read more.
0604.
Open quote. Don't try to climb the mountain alone. Learn to grasp the hand that's ready to pull you up. And in the next section, I will deeply analyze 9 of the most practical ways to leverage resources that you can start today, even without money, connections, or a high level of education. The first method is leveraging others' strength, doing less but achieving tenfold results. This is the most classic way to leverage resources, yet it's also the most overlooked by the poor.
Why?
Because the poor think hiring others costs money, while the rich— read more. 0641. Think that hiring others saves time, and time is money. For the same task, the rich don't do it themselves. They find the right person to do it for them at a cost lower than the value of their time. The poor, on the other hand, do everything themselves: writing, filming, editing, sending orders, and delivering goods. As a result, they work endlessly without getting any better off, because the more they work, the more stuck they become. Rich people aren't good at everything. They're just good at choosing the right people to delegate tasks to. Think about it. If it takes you 3 hours to design a poster, read more. 0714. While someone else only needs 15 minutes, are those 3 hours worth it? If you deliver orders yourself, running around the city for a year instead of paying a shipper 40,000 VND, how much are those 2 hours worth? Smart people know that. Open quote. I don't need to do everything. I need to do the right thing I'm best at, and hire others to do the rest. Close quote. It's okay if you're a solo entrepreneur. It's okay if you don't have money to hire people yet. Because borrowing people's help doesn't mean you have to hire full-time with high salaries. Read more. 0747. You can start by hiring freelancers for small tasks: writing content, editing photos, making videos. Collaborate win-win with students and newcomers. They need projects, you need help. Find virtual assistants, online collaborators. Many people are willing to support you remotely at a low cost. Interns, apprentices, they teach people skills and then help with the work. Listen to this story. A young person selling t-shirts online did everything themselves, from designing, posting products, advising customers, packaging and shipping. Every day was busy from morning till night, but at the end of the month, the profit was only a few $100,000 dong. One day, you decided to hire a freelancer to advise on online orders, successfully closing 5,000 orders. After only 1 month, sales quadrupled because you had time to focus on running ads and developing new products. You didn't do more. You just borrowed another hand, and the results changed. The problem isn't that you can't do it. The problem is that you're trying to do everything alone. If you want to do online business, borrow the power of freelancers to run ads, create landing pages, and write descriptions. If you want to open a shop, borrow the power of students to work part-time, learn a trade, and help out while you work. If you're a YouTuber, find an editor, voice talent, or scriptwriter to lighten your workload. Application Strategy 1. List 5 tasks that are taking up your time each day. 2. Choose 2 tasks you're not good at or don't enjoy. 3. Find someone to do them for you as a freelancer, part-timer, intern, or collaborator. 4. Use the time saved to do higher value work. Develop products, find partners to increase customers. Read more. 0928. Remember this open quote. Borrowing people's help isn't about being lazy, but about focusing on the right tasks. Close quote. Successful people always keep a simple mind to think strategically. Unsuccessful people are incredibly busy, but their minds never escape from trivial tasks. You don't need a large company to hire people. You just need to believe that there are others who are better than you in some area, and you should leverage their skills to go further. That's the first leverage, and also the foundation of any wealth-building system later on. Method number 2. Borrow money. This is leverage. Read more. 10.05. What the poor fear most, but it's what the rich use most. The poor always avoid borrowing because they fear debt. They believe that debt drags them down. But the rich are different. They understand that if you know how to borrow money correctly, debt is not a burden but a tool to rise up. Just think, between 2 people, one has 100 million of their own and the other has 20 million, but knows how to borrow an additional 500 million to make ends meet. In the investment round, who will progress faster? If you know how to use borrowed money to generate cash flow, you are doing what all entrepreneurs and big players are doing. No large company doesn't use loans. From Apple and Tesla to Vingroup, they all borrow. The difference lies in how you use that money. The poor borrow to spend. The rich borrow to make money. The poor borrow to buy cars, phones, and spend on emotions. The rich borrow to invest in machinery, goods, expand their business model, or simply to quickly rotate capital so as not to miss opportunities. They always think that money is not for hoarding, but for operation. And if they lack money, they borrow. Borrowing money is not wrong. The mistake is not knowing how to manage it. Some people borrow 10 million to open a small shop, sell it profitably, and still have money left after paying interest. Others take that 10 million to buy an iPhone, sell it a few months later for 7 million, and still owe 3 million, with interest compounding on interest. The issue isn't about the money, but about the purpose. If you know how to turn borrowed money into assets, into cash flow, then you're doing the right thing. And today there are countless ways to borrow money without a bank: crowdfunding, contributing capital from friends, profit-sharing partnerships, deferred payments to suppliers, leveraging credit cards. Read more. 11.47. In the right way, borrowing from angel investors, etc. You can start with the smallest way. Borrow 2.5 million from yourself to buy goods, sell them, then repay the principal and share the profits. Or use a credit card for reasonable spending within the 4-5-day interest-free period. Then use the generated cash flow to pay or negotiate with suppliers to receive goods first and pay later after 15 days. That's also borrowing money. But it's smart borrowing. Poor people often ask, what if I can't repay? But rich people ask, how can I quickly recoup my investment and repay on time? Read more. 12.21. The poor see risk, the rich see opportunity. And strangely enough, the more you fear risk, the more likely you are to remain poor because you don't dare to enter the money game. Meanwhile, the rich understand that if you don't dare to borrow money, you will forever be limited by your own small wallet. Remember, money is a tool. If you use it correctly, it's a companion. If you use it incorrectly, it's a burden. The rich don't avoid it, they just learn to control it. And you too, learn how to use other people's money to build your dreams. Read more. 1254. That's what all successful people are doing. Not because they are already rich, but because they know that borrowing money is the most effective leverage to break out of poverty. And now we come to method number 3. A silent but extremely effective leverage. Borrow time. Method number 3. Borrow time. It sounds abstract, but this is actually a leverage that anyone can apply even if you don't have money, connections, or special skills. What does borrowing time mean? It means you utilize. Read more. 1328. Other people's time, other people's systems, other people's experience to shorten your own path. You don't need to spend 5 years learning marketing from scratch. You can learn from those who came before you, from courses, from mentors, from the community to compress 5 years into 5 months. You don't need to spend a whole year figuring out content creation, ad testing, and campaign editing. You can hire a freelancer with 3 years of experience to do it for you in 3 days. You don't need to do everything yourself. You need others to do the parts that they spent their youth on to become better than you. Read more.
1402.
Borrowing time means knowing your time is limited and you shouldn't waste it on things others do better. Poor people often think, "I'll just do it myself to save money." But they don't realize that they are losing something more valuable than money: time. Time cannot be recovered. You have 20 hours a day just like Elon Musk or Warren Buffett. The difference is that they know how to use the time of 1,000 other people to amplify their power. You, on the other hand, only have 2 hands. Read more. 1437. Some people build entire careers simply by synthesizing knowledge from others and sharing it in their own way. Some people only need to collaborate with a mentor, learning from their mistakes to avoid 5 years of pointless trial and error. Some people hire part-time teams to run ads, write content, and process orders instead of sitting at a computer all day. That's borrowing time. You want to do a big project, but you're alone. Form a team. You want to learn a skill, but don't know where to start. Learn from those who have already done it. You want to start a business, but read more.
1510.
Time is limited because you're working. Collaborate with someone who is free and has the skills. You take charge of the direction, strategy, and control. Don't think you have to walk the whole path alone. Smart people always find shortcuts, not by cheating, but by using other people's time. When you borrow time, you are borrowing the youth, effort, failures, and lessons of others to go 10 times faster. Borrowing time is not stinginess or exploitation. Borrowing time is an act of someone who knows how to respect their own. Read more. 1544. Time. And when you learn how to borrow time, in the right way, you'll find you don't need to run fast. You just need to go the right way and have someone to go with you. Now, let's move on to the 4th method, which is silently changing the world. Borrow technology. Method number 4, borrow technology. In this era, if you don't take advantage of technology, you're setting yourself up for failure right from the starting line. Poor people are often afraid of technology. They think technology is for the smart, the educated, the technically skilled, but the truth is the opposite. Technology was created, read more, 1618, to help even those who aren't skilled to do the job. Before, to make a video you needed to know how to shoot, edit, color correct, and add effects. Now with CapCut, you just need to choose a template. Before, to write content you had to hire a writer. Now with AI support, you just need to input your ideas and let the machine do the rest. Before, to sell goods you needed a store, you had to rent a space. Now, just open a TikTok shop, Shopee, or Zallo account, and you have a virtual store that millions of people can see. Technology is the fairest leverage of this era. Read more. 1650. It doesn't care how old you are, what field you study, or where you live. As long as you know how to use it, it will help you accelerate your progress significantly. Rich people aren't always better at technology than you. They just dare to try it earlier. They learn how to use software to automate processes, learn how to apply AI to save time. They use chatbots to take care of customers, use management software to avoid checking orders, and use management tools to keep track of work even when they are not physically present. You want to sell, use inventory and order management software. You want to advise customers, use chatbots or a CRM system. You want to build a personal channel, use AI to create videos, write content, and create voiceovers. You want to increase your learning or work productivity. There are dozens of applications to support note-taking, time management, and planning.
Leveraging technology is how you can replace human labor with artificial intelligence, automation, software, and systems.
You can't do everything alone, but if you have 10 supporting tools, you're like having 10 virtual assistants working non-stop. Read more. 1756. The poor are still struggling to find work, while others are letting software automatically make money for them.
20 bulls in July.
The poor are afraid of not knowing how to use it, while successful people are always ready to learn new things, try new things, correct mistakes, but don't miss opportunities. Remember, in the old era, those with physical strength won. In the new era, those who can combine technology with people will lead. If you don't know anything about technology, don't be afraid. Start with the smallest things. Use GBT Chat to help write content. Read more.
1830.
Use software to plan your daily work. Use CapCut to create short videos. Use Notion to manage your study time. Step by step, you'll find yourself saving hours each day and using that time to do something more valuable. Technology doesn't take away your job. It only takes away the jobs of those who refuse to learn how to use it. You don't need to become a programmer. You just need to become someone who knows how to utilize the tool. And that's the fourth leverage. Leverage the power of technology to rise above even when... Read more. 1901. You have nothing. Now for the fifth leverage, a soft but powerful lever that greatly impacts your reputation, income, and growth rate. Borrow the reputation of others. Leverage the reputation of others. This is one of the most sophisticated levers that the rich use every day. The poor almost never think of it. Why? Because they think, I'm not famous, I don't have a brand, who will listen to me. But in reality, you don't need to have credibility. You just need to borrow the credibility of others in the right way. Notice that many entrepreneurs don't start from scratch alone. They start by standing next to someone with credibility, collaborating with someone who already has a reputation, or simply asking an influential person to share their product. A recommendation from a reputable person can shorten the 6 months of struggling to build a brand to just 6 days. The wealthy understand that credibility is a more powerful asset than money. And if you don't have credibility yet, borrow it. Borrow by collaborating, by networking, by working for free in exchange for recognition, or simply by partnering with someone to be illuminated by their light. For example, you sell courses but don't have students yet. Nobody knows you. Partner with someone who already has a community. Share their revenue, and in return you gain the trust of their followers. If you're selling new cosmetics, find a stay-at-home mom with 10,000 followers on TikTok, give them samples, and ask for review videos. You don't have credibility yet. That's okay. Someone with credibility can shorten that path for you. Wise people will. Read more.
2041.
Not build everything from scratch. They leverage existing brands for greater growth. Becoming a collaborator for a large brand, becoming an agent for a well-known product line, blogging on a platform with an existing community. These are all effective ways to leverage credibility. You don't have to be anyone. That's okay, as long as you dare to stand alongside influential people, dare to connect, dare to learn to give before expecting anything in return. And don't misunderstand, borrowing someone's reputation doesn't mean living off them or being a parasite. Borrowing someone's reputation is a two-way exchange of value. You can give that person. Read more. 2114. Skills, effort, enthusiasm, and youthful vision. In return, you receive endorsement from their name. It's a win-win situation, nothing to be ashamed of. Look at emerging YouTubers. They often appear with a big name. Successful startups often have famous mentors. Good salespeople often mention reputable customers who have bought their products. All of this is borrowing someone's reputation. And if you're still out there alone, don't try to shout as loud as you can for everyone to hear. Stand. Read more.
21:47.
Next to someone everyone is listening to. When you leverage someone else's reputation, you're saving years of brand building and gaining trust almost instantly. That's something money sometimes can't buy. And now, let's move on to method number 6. Something many people are taking advantage of without realizing it. Borrowing distribution channels. Method number 6. Borrowing distribution channels. It sounds a bit technical, but simply put, you're leveraging the platform, community, and sales system that others have already built to distribute your products or services. Read more.
22:19.
Instead of spending years building your own channel, you can stand on the shoulders of giants. Previously, to sell goods, you needed a physical store, signage, advertising, and employees. Today, you only need a Shopee, TikTok Shop, Lazada, or personal Facebook account with stable interaction. These are huge distribution channels where there are already buyers, people searching, and people who need what you sell. You're a newcomer, that's okay. You don't have followers, no problem. What you need is to choose the right platform. Read more. 22:53. To send your product into the existing flow. Poor people often start by opening their own channel, posting themselves, and attracting viewers themselves. The result is weariness and frustration because no one knows about it. Rich people, or those with a leverage mindset, do the opposite. They find places that already have customers and insert themselves. Selling on e-commerce platforms thanks to KOC Review's collaboration with YouTubers involves carefully ordering and sending to shops that already have existing customers. That's borrowing a distribution channel. Let's take a specific example. If you sell filter coffee, instead of creating your own website and spending money on advertising, put your Read more. 23:24. Product on TikTok Shop. Find people with 5K or 10K followers to film a video of them trying out the product. If the product is good, the algorithm will help you get trending. You don't need to spend too much money, but you can reach thousands of potential customers. Or if you have a soft skills course, don't start with your own website. Post it on platforms like Kina, Unica, Edumore, or collaborate with large fan pages to share it on a commission-based model. That's borrowing a distribution system. And if you're good at a particular skill like design, writing, or programming, then read more. 23:57. You can post on Fiverr, Freelancer, Upwork. There are already people there who need your services. You don't need to find clients. You just need to showcase your abilities. Borrowing a distribution channel is how you turn someone else's platform into your own playground. As long as you provide real value, you will survive and thrive. And the more orders you get, the more money you'll have to gradually build your own system. Many people have the wrong mindset that they have to do everything themselves and have their own channel to be impressive. But the truth is, you don't need to be famous. You just need to be present where people are buying. Don't waste 3 years building up. Read more. 24:32. Website only to have no one know about it. It takes 3 days to get your product onto a platform with existing buyers. That's how smart people get rich fast, by leveraging the strength, platform, and systems of others. And now, another extremely clever leverage point, borrowing existing ideas. A strategy that many wealthy people use to do things faster, with less risk, and still achieve great results. Method number 7, borrowing existing ideas. This is one of the subtle but extremely effective leverage points that wealthy people use to reduce risk, shorten the trial and error period, and most importantly, move faster than others. You know what? It's not the new idea that will succeed, but the right idea implemented at the right time, in the right place, and in the right way. Poor people are often obsessed with coming up with something truly unique. They want to be the first, to be different. But the truth is, the first doesn't always win. The one who does it best is the winner. Look back and see how many people follow existing models. Opening a bakery like other shops, selling clothes like other shops, making YouTube videos with the same content as other channels. But they still succeed, even surpassing their predecessors, because they know how to innovate, adjust, choose the right time, and the right way to do it. Wise people don't sit for months trying to come up with something completely new. They look at what's working in the market and choose what's suitable to replicate, improve, or cater to a niche. That's borrowing ideas. For example, you see a roadside art shop that's always crowded. You don't need to copy it exactly. You can open a similar shop, but choose a location near a school, add more toppings, edit the menu, and make it a better version. Or you see a very successful YouTube channel model sharing financial knowledge. You can create similar content, but with your own tone, focusing on the Gen N's age group, and add vivid illustrations. And that's how you have a version with your own personal touch. Borrowing ideas is not plagiarism. It's a form of remixing to suit your target market. Smart people don't reinvent the wheel. They find a wheel that already works and attach it to their own machine. Looking more broadly, many big brands start by learning from those who came before. Facebook learned from the MySpace model, Grab learned from Uber, TikTok developed based on Vine. No one starts from scratch. Everyone borrows someone else's ideas. The problem is how well you do it and what value you add to it. If you want to open a shop, survey the 10 most successful shops in the area to see what they sell, what their prices are, their strengths, and their weaknesses. Read more. 27:19. From there, choose the best one and package it in your own style. If you want to sell online, see what the top 3 shops are doing, what images they use, how they write captions, learn from them, and do better. Don't force yourself to be creative from scratch. Start with what's already effective and gradually refine it along your own journey. Start by borrowing and end with breaking free. And if you do well, others will borrow your ideas later. That's when you know you've moved to a new level. Now, let's move on to a very powerful leverage point. Read more. 27:52. In business, borrowing a brand is a much faster and safer way to get rich than building from scratch. Method number 8, borrowing a brand. This is a path that helps many people with nothing to make money quickly and build personal credibility without spending years building from scratch. Because you are borrowing the trust already in the customer's mind, consumers tend to choose what they are familiar with, have heard of, or seen somewhere before. A brand new product, unknown to anyone, no matter how good it is still very difficult to sell. Read more. 28:25. But if you carry a product from a big brand like Senka, Vinamilk, Samsung, or Batis, you almost don't need to introduce it much. Just saying you're an authorized dealer of brand X is enough to build trust. Borrowing a brand means you are using the existing reputation of a big name as a springboard for yourself. You can start by working as a sales collaborator, a franchise dealer, or even becoming a media person or reviewer for big brands. For example, a student. Read more. 28:58. Has no capital, no personal brand, but becomes a collaborator for an established natural cosmetics brand. All they have to do is post product photos, reply to inbox messages, close deals, and earn several million to tens of millions of VND per month. The product's reputation completely shortens the process and builds trust. Poor people are often obsessed with having their own brand. But if you're just starting out, it's best to stick with something that already has a foothold in the market. Don't try to shout loudly in the marketplace. Stand next to a speaker that's already turned on. Read more. 29:30. If you want to open a restaurant, consider franchising a well-known brand in the area. If you want to sell online, choose to partner with brands that already have a community. If you want to provide services, partner with a reputable entity for assurance. Borrowing a brand can also be done at the individual level. You work for a large, reputable company, and later you branch out to start your own business. Your old reputation will be part of your baggage. You were once a student, assistant, or employee of a famous expert. Read more. 30:03. That's also the brand you were once associated with. Borrowing a brand doesn't mean you lack personality. On the contrary, it's a wise move for someone who knows that building a brand takes time, but income can't be generated instantly. You earn money while learning how to build your personal brand. And when you're mature, you'll have a solid foundation to go your own way. If you're struggling to figure out where to start, find a strong brand and find a way to contribute to it. When you bring value to the brand will bring you income and prestige. And finally, we come to a soft but extremely powerful leverage in every field: borrowing relationships. This is how the rich open their eyes, while the poor often overlook them. Method number 9. Leverage relationships. This is an invisible leverage point, yet it has more power than capital, knowledge, or experience. Because in the world of business and success, the people you know are just as important as what you know. The poor often do something very risky, yet still dangerous. Read more. 3106. They live in isolation, afraid to communicate, afraid to ask for help, afraid to connect. They believe that self-reliance is what they should be proud of, and then they just keep struggling alone in a cycle of lack of information, lack of opportunities, and lack of like-minded people. Success. Meanwhile, successful people always find ways to expand their network. They're not afraid to introduce themselves, not afraid to ask questions, and not afraid to listen. Have you noticed? Many people aren't particularly good at anything, but they have connections. But they have connections. But they have connections. But they have connections. But they have